There are stories the world tried to forget. Tales of gods who did not obey the rules of man or nature. They were not bound by flesh, not caged by the idea of man or woman. They shifted, they transformed, they existed as something beyond. Some say they were erased. Others say they are simply waiting for the right moment to return. Long before the world was carved into stone, before rules were written in blood and fire, the gods shaped themselves as they pleased. They did not ask permission. They did not seek approval. And those who defied the boundaries of flesh were not cursed. They were worshipped. Take Apollo, the golden god of prophecy, light, and music. He was admired, adored, but untouchable, until he met Hyacinthus, a mortal prince with eyes like the sea, laughter like wind through golden fields. Apollo should have stayed distant. He was a god after all, above mortal desires. But love does not care for rules. So they ran together, played together, whispering secrets the heavens were never meant to hear. But love between gods and mortals is never safe. Some say it was the west wind, jealous and bitter, who turned fate against them. Others say destiny simply played its cruel game. Either way, the discus flew, too fast, too hard. The moment it left Apollo's hands, the world slowed. Hyacinthus fell. His body crumpled to the earth, blood soaking the grass like spilled wine. Apollo screamed, his voice shaking the heavens. He begged, pleaded, but even a god's tears cannot undo death. So he did the only thing left. He turned Hyacinthus into a flower, his beauty frozen in time. A whisper of the boy who once danced in the light. And even now, when the wind rustles the petals, some swear they hear Apollo's voice, calling his name. But Apollo was not the only god who walked between boundaries. Dionysus, the god of wine and madness, was neither man nor woman. He danced between them like a shadow in the firelight. His voice was honey and poison, his laughter wild and untamed. He welcomed those the world cast aside, the lost, the broken, the ones who did not fit. In his arms, they found freedom. In his madness, they found clarity. But Dionysus was not kind to those who tried to bind him in chains. A king once tried. Pentheus, a ruler who feared what he did not understand. He saw Dionysus as a threat, something unnatural. So he captured him, mocked him, bound him in iron. But when morning came, the chains lay empty. The god was gone, and in his place, only laughter. Cold, unforgiving. The kind of laughter that lingers in the bones. Pentheus never escaped the god's wrath. When he looked upon the mountains, he did not see women in a trance. He saw beasts, wild and hungry. And when he stepped closer, when his fear turned to horror, it was already too late. But there were others who defied the rules in quieter ways. Inanna, the queen of heaven, held power over love and war. She did not obey kings. She did not answer to men. And when she chose her sacred ones, they were not bound by flesh. Her priests, the Gala, were neither man nor woman. They walked between, transformed by the goddess herself, a third kind, a sacred kind. Those who dared mock them would feel Inanna's fury in full. And then there were the Galli, the ones who served Cybele, the Great Mother. They were born men, but in devotion, they abandoned their past selves. In a fevered trance, they took a blade, and in one crimson moment, they were reborn. Not as men, not as women, as something beyond. Their voices rose in eerie song, their dances wild and frenzied. Some feared them, others fell to their knees in reverence. Even now, their stories linger. Some were rewritten, made softer for human ears. Others were buried, their truths too dangerous to tell. But the gods remember. And in the spaces between history, in the echoes of forgotten prayers, they still walk among us. watching, laughing, waiting for the world to catch up. History is full of secrets, some waiting to be uncovered, others waiting to return. If you want to hear more forgotten myths and untold stories, make sure to subscribe and follow. Who knows what other hidden truths we might find?